Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble news channel. I believe that in 10 years Bitcoin will be worth at least $1 million. Things are going to change for the better. I think the US will be the first country to change its mind about nuclear power. We will start making nuclear power plants all over again. Following that, I think they'll do the same thing at some point during the German census. They'll do it not because it's the right thing to do, but because cheap energy is better. Apple and Microsoft will tell them to do it, so they will. In this recent conversation with Michael Saylor for Bitcoin Magazine, we talk about where Bitcoin is now, how politicians see its future, and problems with energy centralization. At the moment, Bitcoin is worth about $63,000. It is down 1% in the last 24 hours, but it is up 2% for the week. Saylor makes it clear that Bitcoin is more than just money. The way we think about money has changed a lot. He says that money is economic energy and currency is a way to move that energy. He also says that government currencies lose energy over time. Saylor thinks that by demonetizing different assets, Bitcoin could grow into a $250 trillion environment that doesn't pose a threat to any nation state. Please like, follow, and share this channel before we start. Now it's time for Michael Saylor to talk. What do I think about Bitcoin? It's digital capital, and I believe that capital is changing from tape to digital. That's something that I think every business, government, investor, and developer will look at, and people will adopt it at their own pace. Let us look at the internet as an example. In the last 30 years, has the internet changed the way people vote? When you look at how the European Union has grown, what part did this play? Or think about how things changed in China and Russia during the crisis. What part did the internet play? Now think about all the things that have happened in South America in the last 30 years. What role did the internet play? I mean, the web reached every place. It's gone all over the world. Even though the internet has changed everything, there is still economic, political, and military strife, as well as evolution, society, and the internet keeps spreading. That's why I believe Bitcoin will become popular, just like digital money. I don't think a disaster is needed for it to grow. It seems like a better thought. It would spread even if there wasn't a fight going on. The spread will be sped up by conflict, chaos, and hyperinflation. But if Apple Computer adds Bitcoin to the iPhone, it will spread because Apple added Bitcoin to the iPhone. Also, why are they going to add to the iPhone? As a result, they will make a huge amount of money if they extend the iPhone. Why would they not want to make a huge amount of money? People will do it since they can. It will be used by governments and investors at whatever speed they choose. It makes more sense. It's money made online. The same way computer information is. This is money in digital form. It's going to spread through society. What I want to say is that Bitcoin doesn't fix everything. It only fixes half the problem. That's the part where you need money or power to get things done, right? Who wants to be in charge? Everyone wants to be powerful. Everyone wants to be powerful. What are you going to do with the power? There are different ideas about what they should do with it, but I think everyone can agree that they would like not less economic power, but more of it. I also think the world is pretty easy. It looks like there is $900 trillion worth of wealth. The dollar will keep growing by 7 to 10% each year. That means there will be twice as much of that in 7 to 10 years. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes up or down by 10 or 15 times. It will go from 1.3 trillion to 20 trillion. It could be 1% of the world's wealth or $1 million each, and no one would care what it is worth. Right? So I don't really think that something bad has to happen or that something big will happen. The world has changed. I believe this is pretty cool stuff. It's going to spread like cell phones do. Since Michael Saylor just talked about where Bitcoin is now, let's hear him go into more detail about how Bitcoin's energy works. Saylor says Bitcoin is more than just a currency. It's a big change in the way we think about energy and money. He says that Bitcoin can be thought of as digital energy that can be used to keep and send money quickly. Saylor says that Bitcoin mining is often criticized for using a lot of energy, but it's actually leading to new ways to make energy that doesn't harm the environment. This is similar to what Bitcoin miners do, but he says that big tech companies like Microsoft and Apple are buying a lot of energy right now. Saylor says that Bitcoin is the world's cleanest and most efficient use of energy because it encourages the growth of clean energy sources and uses extra energy that would have been wasted otherwise. Let's hear what Michael Saylor has to say on Bitcoin Magazine. I agree that people only accept a new way of thinking when they are in war or when they are dying. Yes, either you or all the old guards have to die, right? Teenagers and young adults in their 20s are brand new to life. Yes? What do you need? You want to be famous, you want money, status, a family, and a girlfriend, right? Those things are not yours. You don't own anything. Yes. So there is nothing to lose and everything to gain. Someone then gives you the idea of something like YouTube, a cell phone, Bitcoin, or an electric guitar, right? No matter what it is, you accept it, right? It's the new norm. You don't need a family when you're 75 years old. The honor, people already respect you. The money is already on hand. It's not like you have to show anything. You might have messed up your life already. You might not have, but the point is that you have the most to lose, the least time, and the least neuroplasticity. You don't like new ideas very much because you have nothing to gain from them. Yes, young people will now follow a new idea. Yes, older people will say no to the new idea. The only time that doesn't apply is during a war when you refuse to use air power and the enemy drops bombs on your city and destroys your headquarters. When you look up, you realize that your theory was wrong. When your side has horses and the other side has tanks, you know the theory was wrong. Okay, so when there is war, when there is a lot of trauma, everyone thinks they will fight the next war with the same tools they used in the last one. And when the next war comes along and 87,000 robot drones and wasp-like things fly through your window, you'll realize that all the stuff you bought in 1990 to fight with is useless. That will change everything. Also, I believe COVID was like a big change, but not everyone is part because many people did not lose everything in COVID. In COVID, only some people lost everything. Some people got better. Yes, that's what starts it. Chaos will continue to set things off. But these things need to reach a certain point. There comes a time when something goes from being against the grain, odd, or scary to being completely normal and necessary. And I think that if you want to learn about the past of technology, you should compare pictures of New York City in 1905 and 1915. And some way people switch from riding horses and carriages on the street to driving cars. Yes. Also, the state changed and everyone was against it before they were for it. Yes. And there are many examples like that in the past of technology, from electricity to cars to cell phones, where people were against them at first and then quickly changed their minds when it takes place. I agree that things are moving faster in the world. From what I know, the next 10 years will bring about a lot of change very quickly in at least two areas. Digital money and digital intelligence are the two I know about. There may be more than two that I don't know about. Yes, this makes it clear that there are hundreds of trillions of dollars in cash, which is real money. People will start switching from analog to digital, which will cause big changes in how businesses work. There are also financial apps and organizations, and they'll throw out the window a lot of things that people have taken for granted for the past 30 years and say, what? Yes, I would like to do a poll on Twitter right now to find out how many of you plan to invest in Bitcoin, stocks, gold, or something else.